What's going on, dope shit gang? It's your boy DarrnellBradley back at y'all with another Twitter talk. Been a little minute, hasn't it? Seen this stuff going on Twitter yesterday. You know what I'm saying? This is something I wanted to talk about because I believe it touches on something that I believe is a interesting topic. It broaches on the topic of religion and their beliefs and things like that. If you've seen my reactions or if you've been around for a minute, you know that I'm not religious. There are a lot of things that I disagree with as far as that is concerned. But this particular instance happened with DIZZYEIGHT on Twitter, agreeing with something Kanye said on, I can't remember dude's name, but he runs a podcast. He's an anti-Semite and a whole bunch of other stuff. Just like got hit with damn near $1 billion lawsuit for saying Sandy Hook and shit was a hoax and all this other stuff. But in there, Kanye had said some stuff pertaining to porn and the consumption of it, on how you have women who were the victims of pedophiles as kids, and how that could direct them basically into the porn industry, and how that sin leads to other sin, like believing that watching porn or consuming porn is a sin and things like that. And I feel like what Dizzy said was that he agreed. Like I said, this is how I took it. I feel like Dizzy said that he agreed with the fact that porn in itself is a sin, and the consumption of it is a sin. And as far as religion goes, that's on point. And but he didn't. I said this in a comment to something I posted in regards to this. I don't feel like Dizzy went at anybody. I don't feel like he attacked anyone. I feel like he spoke on what he believed, and it just happened to be from what Kanye said. And I feel like people are getting very, very wrapped up in their hatred for Kanye because Kanye's lost his rabbit ass mind, and they're letting that hatred toward him bleed into their logical thought making and not being able to isolate the context under which Dizzy spoke, just because Kanye is such a volatile topic of conversation right now. So it's like, if you agree with anything that he says, people are gonna come at you just for that, because of the other stuff he's done, without even centralizing the context of what you said you agreed with. Because just because you agree with something that someone said, that is like, if you have somebody who's vastly disliked at the moment, and they say something that you could agree with, even though you don't agree with a vast amount of other bullshit they was doing, people will take it and they will stack what you agreed with up against everything that Kanye has done wrong and be like, how can you agree with this person? It just because the person is not liked, or just because the person is crazy in their own right, doesn't mean that when they do say something that other people agree with, it doesn't mean that that person that agrees with them agrees with everything they've said or everything they've done, just this particular statement. And when it comes to religion, since Dizzy is religious, it makes complete sense for Dizzy to agree with that specific statement Kanye made. Now, Kanye went on some other shit about equating people who watch porn or whatever, equating them to pedophiles, and that part obviously is no. And I feel like I saw people kind of on Dizzy's head with that part, like trying to talk like he agreed with that part when that's not what he was saying. I also think that people are, because Kanye said a whole lot of out of pocket shit during that interview. And like I said, I think that people are getting really wrapped up in, like I said, some of the other things that Kanye was saying throughout that interview, and in their mind it's like, how could you agree with anything he said because of this and but you got to understand, like I said, the viewpoint of someone who is religious, because you have somebody who is sensibly religious, like I view Dizzy to be somebody who is sensibly religious, against somebody who is unsensibly religious, like I believe Kanye to be. But since they are both religious, there are going to be viewpoints that match up. You know what I'm saying? Now how they choose to convey those viewpoints can be very different. As in Dizzy, you know, just speaking his truth, saying what he believed, whatever, and then someone like Kanye or just any multitude of other crazy religious people who are like going after the mass populace for not believing the way that they do. You know what I'm saying? There's a big difference there, and I feel like people should really try to understand that. Like I do feel like when Dizzy posted it, it was a little too general. Like I feel like he didn't specify what he meant very well. And when you're speaking to a mass populace, like a social networking platform, you know what I'm saying, you can't leave a whole lot of read between the line room. You know what I'm saying? And I know that a lot of us feel that we should just be able to say what we're saying and people should be able to understand it for what it is. But that's just when you're dealing with a multitude of people, that's just not gonna happen. You gotta be specific, more specific with what you're saying. So I wanted people to understand where Dizzy stood, or at least where I believe Dizzy stood in opposition to how other people are trying to make it seem. Because I don't believe that Dizzy believes that, oh, you watching porn, you're a pedophile and things like that. I think that in some of the conversation I saw Dizzy had in a thread, what he's alluding to is the equivalency of sin in general as far as religion sees it, and that sin is sin, as far as like greater or lesser not being a thing. So if like pedophilia is a sin and watching porn is a sin, they are both sin. Like they both equate to the same, for lack of better words, sin energy. Like you're stealing a car, you watch porn, pedophilia, whatever, just in that realm, it's all just sin. You know what I'm saying? That's that belief system. And I don't fault him for having that belief system, if that's his belief system. Like if sin is like, you recognize sin as sin. And the reason I don't have any animosity toward it is because Dizzy, like I said, he didn't cloak hate speech in a religious cloak and then try to speak like his shit is fact. You know what I'm saying? He understands greatly that it's his beliefs, and he understands that other people have different beliefs. Loves everybody, you know what I'm saying? But you can't shame someone's beliefs out of them. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I've said it in several different reactions in regards to Dizzy when he's spoken on religious things, that I can respect religion. If the wielder of that religion can respect others that believe differently. You know what I'm saying? They're not out there preaching that, oh, you're going to hell, God hates you for this, that, whatever. Because I think there's a big difference from thinking that something is a sin and just that's your belief, that's how you see it, period. Can't nobody change your mind. I think that that's different than going in front of like or like protesting outside of like a gay bar or something, talking about, oh, you're all going to hell, God hates you, I can't believe you're doing this, you know what I'm saying? That's hate. To me, that's hate. He just spoke on his belief, and it just so happened that Kanye was the one speaking on it at the time. I feel like if anybody else had spoken on it, or somebody that was more widely had spoken on it and only spoke in the context of the equality of sin, and Dizzy has said something about that, I feel like you'd have had people that would have still disagreed with him, but they wouldn't have gone at him with the same muster as they would have with it being Kanye who said it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, I just feel like a lot of people are wrapped up in the fact that it was something Kanye said, and he's a very volatile topic right now, so they weren't able to isolate the context under which Dizzy was what Dizzy was agreeing with, and just decided to apply his agreement to everything Kanye was saying, which was not the case at all. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to give that some specificity as someone who disagrees with Dizzy on this belief, but who can also understand and isolate his agreement within the context it was brought to you in. You know what I'm saying? That's just it. I just feel like so if you don't have any animosity toward Diz for what he said, I feel like that's naive. I feel like that is a lot of things that we preach against over here, is about your beliefs being your beliefs, you know what I'm saying? And as long as you're not forcing them on someone else, you feel free to speak them, you know what I'm saying? Talk about them and things like that, as long as it's not wrapped up in hate speech and you're not going after people and anti-Semitics and all this other stuff. I don't feel like what Dizzy said was anti-Semitic. I don't feel like it was hate speech. I don't feel like it was any of that. I feel like he spoke on something he believed, which was the equality of sin, and that doing and consuming porn is a sin. And if that is your belief, just if that's what you believe, there's nothing wrong with it, even though I disagree with it. Like, I'm saying that as myself, like, I disagree with that, but I don't think Dizzy's bad for that belief. Like I said, I said this in the thread, there are non-religious people who think porn is an inherent disaster to society, and they're not religious. You know what I'm saying? I disagree with those people, but it doesn't make me want to lunge out at them. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like people, y'all should get away from who Dizzy agreed with about this one specific thing, and get more into what he agreed with. And if you disagree, understand that that is a disagreement in belief. Just because there's a belief disagreement does not mean that there needs to be animosity or anybody going after somebody or anything like that. It's just belief. Yeah, Kanye is out his damn mind. We all know that. I'm not debating that. And everything that man say, for me personally, since I'm not religious, just about everything that man say for me is like, what? Huh? Go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Just because on everything he says, from regular society shit to religion, for me is not it. Just because, like, I don't agree with him values wise in general, and I don't agree with him because I'm not religious. Just as in this particular scenario, I don't agree with Dizzy. But like I said in my thread, it's just a disagreement. It's just me disagreeing. I don't think he said anything that I don't think Dizzy said anything that warranted an offense. There we go. I don't think Dizzy said anything that warranted an offense. And if you could take it for exactly what he was saying, isolated within the context of what he was saying, I really think that you'll see that there really is no animosity room. Plenty of disagreement room, but no animosity room. You know what I'm saying? I saw people going after Dizzy saying some really weird shit, and like I said, they were more wrapped up in their hatred of Kanye over their disagreement in what Dizzy was saying. And I feel like if you're going to be a part of that conversation, then you need to be able to distinguish your emotions from your logic. Emotions from your logic. I'm gonna just say that. Y'all can put in the comments how y'all feel about it. But like I said, I have seen, especially in today's political atmosphere, I have seen so much hate speech wrapped up in the cloak of religion to play like what Dizzy said was offensive. I'm sorry. To play like what Dizzy said was offensive after what I have seen it wouldn't make any sense to me. But yeah, man, that's my take. I just wanted to share that with y'all because I feel like some people really had that confused. So hopefully my take was able to help you wrap your head around it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's it, man. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, follow me on all that there social media, and I'll catch y'all next one. Peace.